and welcome back to the second half of the first season of the Cooked Lobsters. I could not be more excited to be here today with my co-host, as always, Chef Brandon Drotter. I am your chef in the kitchen, Ryan Weber. We got a great episode for you today, kind of a lost episode, if you will, a little bit of a throwback. Chef Drotter, tell us what to expect today.
We're going to expect a little bit of everything here. We're going to expect a little bit of Code Red, which is going to be a little bit wild. We can't get into that. It's top secret. And then we go into going down the slopes a little bit and just a little bit about sports and just everyday life and what makes us who we are today.
Got a super special guest we're going to allow him to introduce himself. We got some new episodes coming up here very shortly. One more special lost episode that will be released very shortly. We'll get a little bit more into that later on. But we just hope you guys really enjoy this episode and y'all stay cracking.
Stay cracking, y'all.
Hello and welcome back to episode 8, Interviews in the Kitchen. I'm your head chef, Ryan Weber. With me as always, Brandon Drotter, and we got a very special guest today. Go ahead and do the honors for us, Brandon.
Oh, you want me to do the honors?
We love to get it cooking.
Oh, we got Michael on the air here. So tell the listeners a little bit about yourself here, Michael.
Michael Sopko, age 35, soon to be 36 this year. 2023 has been a great year for me. I'm a teacher, lacrosse coach. I love outdoor sports and just having fun. I love Maine. A recent New Englander, lived in Massachusetts for 2 years. Before then, Atlanta, Georgia, and New York, Long Island. So I lived in 3 different places in the United States, mostly East Coast. Just got back from the West Coast maybe 2 weeks ago, coaching a lacrosse camp out in Pacific Lutheran University in Tacoma, Washington.
Nice.
Of America.
Nice.
They hit it.
How was it?
Summer. It was awesome. It was so much fun. It was like probably 100 kids, 80 kids. And then high school division, we probably had around like 30 because we do high school, middle school, and youth. So I was director of the high school, 3 different teams, doing drills every day, working with kids, trying to develop their skills, most of them wanting to maybe play in college or some pros. Obviously that's tough, but it's fun to be a part of that experience and staff.
How is the interest in West Coast lacrosse? I know lacrosse thought of primarily as an East Coast sport, especially in the college rankings. You'd say that's probably where the East Coast would dominate. But how is the interest out there in lacrosse on the West Coast?
A lot of people don't know this, but the national sport of Canada is actually
lacrosse.
Lacrosse, not hockey, but
Oh.
everyone loves hockey.
Hockey's
But because
great,
of the Canadian influence out there, it's huge out there. The Vancouver, British Columbia area. Shout out to Salmon Bellies, okay, Kevin Crowley, and Jordan McBride, NLO Warriors, Vancouver Warriors. There's a huge following for lacrosse in the West Coast. It's growing. Pickleball is actually the fastest growing sport in the United States as of now.
Yeah.
Also play pickleball, crush pickleball. I can give you guys some lessons if you need it.
Bro, we were actually just talking about it on episode 5
We've
with
been trying
Gus.
to get in.
Yeah, we've just been talking about it.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times Ryan over here has been talking about pickleball and actually getting a team going here.
I've hit the circuit, but yeah, lacrosse is growing across the United States. It's hard to get kids to initially play it because of cost of entry. You get about the equipment, and there might not be opportunities to play lacrosse in Iowa versus Boston, Massachusetts, or Maine has the Northmen, which are pretty sweet. I would love to see them play indoor lacrosse, and then the Cannons are Boston's team or New England team. So,
Have you done both, like the outdoor? You've done the indoor lacrosse as well?
yeah. When I was in Atlanta, I worked for the Atlanta Box Lacrosse Association.
Box lacrosse, yeah.
I'm laughing because looking back now, that was like a Mickey Mouse organization, but it was kind of legit. I ran the finals at the Gwinnett Center, and then I was running the box, and I'll never forget, I jammed my hand in the door, and I got a permanent scar there.
Nice.
Well, yeah, so.
Box lacrosse is a different animal.
Oh, it's amazing. It's anything that you think you could do in field lacrosse, you could do in box lacrosse. You could do in box lacrosse. Like, you could just come up and blindside a guy, send a pick, and you can. There's just so many different rules for the game. You have to be so much tougher to play box lacrosse. You can evade stuff in field lacrosse. Speed kills, but the great equalizer is a small field in box lacrosse.
Yeah, the fast midi in lacrosse who has a shot is pretty hard to beat, especially in the high school rankings. That's your one kid putting up 8-9 goals a game. And it's cool you're up here in Maine. Maine does have like a really good high school lacrosse program. It's probably more popular in Maine than most other states around here, especially. Well,
I'm gonna bring the juice bar challenge to Maine. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the juice bar challenge, but you pipe hit the bottom of the pipe and it goes down, bar down. People call it bar down. The juice bar challenge is taking really grapefruits because they're the optimal fruit. Taking a pen and like a good twine, sticking them through the grapefruits, putting them right under the bar down, and then use them for accuracy targets. And then when you hit it, they explode. You go, you drink the juice.
that's awesome.
Okay, that's what's up. Okay.
We gotta get
Bar
that
challenge.
going.
Yeah, we did that in St. Olaf, Michigan. Not Michigan, Minnesota. I'm thinking about Michigan because there's a lot of kids that were doing the Michigan,
Yeah,
which is the wraparound.
classic hockey
In Minnesota, and that's the new evolution of the game, is more creativity and improvisation in lacrosse as opposed to a set offense or just. So that's a cool factor of the game that I've been able to coach. Instead of teaching more of systems and like being rigid, is teaching more of like how to just flow within the game with just kind of basic movements or principles of lacrosse. So it's been a great summer. I'm really excited to move on. Coach my 5th grade team again at Wellesley. Compete with the best of the 5th and 6th graders out there in Massachusetts. No, I'm just kidding. But
Tell those little bastards to run a little bit more.
yeah, exactly. Give them a little bit of a pep talk. No tears on my field. 5th graders, they cry.
Yeah.
High school kids don't cry.
Do you cuss at your kids?
I try not to.
Try is keyword right there.
And they're in 5th grade. They don't need to hear me speak. But the older kids, I could definitely ride a little bit more. I'm definitely more of... I tell them what they did wrong and how to fix it, as opposed to tell them that they can't do something. I let them know how they did it. So, in a nice way. Some kids... It was funny, because one of the kids at the camp was like... We're running a fast break, 4-on-3, right? And he just comes down the field, and he just starts sprinting, right? And it's, dude, that's not a fast break. You set up, the defense sets up. We're at 4-on-3, that's the purpose of the drill. If we wanted it to be a 1-on-1, we would just set up a 1-on-1, and then we'd see how fast you are. And he was like, Coach, why are you being like, I just want to have fun. And at that point, we were like trying to just define what fun was for kids. And fun for me as a player was like trying to do it right. When like I had coaches that won state championships, that won United States championships. I've been really fortunate to play with and be coached by and hang out with like major lacrosse figures out there. So when I get on a field, I only know how they coached me, and that's what I give to my kids. And some kids like it, some kids don't. I remember a 7th grade mother being like, my kid's not a professional, why do you coach him like that? And I didn't think I was being too hard on him. I think he's just we had to find a new goalie at that point. The kid was Swiss cheese. I could not have that kid in the cage. Okay, so we took one of our best players, turned him into a goalie, and from here on out, that the kid was going to play over. It's a ruthlessness in youth sports too, but
lacrosse goalies too are a different breed.
Oh yeah.
You need someone who's an absolute animal, someone who brags about the bruises on their body. That's the kid you're looking for.
A little crazy.
Yeah, one of my best friends, Spidey, because he webs them. Okay, he webs them, but for multiple reasons, webs lacrosse balls and other things. We're not gonna talk about.
Savage.
But you have to. Anything that shoots like 100 miles an hour coming at you, that's as hard as a rock. Yeah, you have to be pretty tough to want to be in that position.
And not want to move and just be like, yo, hit me.
Take one for the team.
Dylan Ward, Charlie Parr. Shout out.
Shout out.
That's the 2 best goalies ever. I'm just kidding. Charlie Parr was Stony Brook goalie. Dylan Ward is actually pretty sick. He plays for Team Canada. So, and Team Denver. NLL champion. PLL. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
What's one of the hardest lessons to teach your kids in lacrosse?
Just how to be tough. How to be tough.
Can't teach toughness.
You can't teach toughness. It's a physical sport. Even if you look at Wayne Gretzky, he talks about lacrosse, and the reason why he didn't play lacrosse is because it was too physical of a sport. He's one of the greatest hockey players ever, and
Hell of a finesse guy.
Yeah, hockey is a physical sport, right?
Mr.
So,
Hockey.
Once again, in his youth, and he's making a decision on what sport he's going to play. He plays hockey. And we make the analogy in lacrosse, like when you're swimming on Lake Thompson, do you just dip your toe in the lake to feel the temperature, or you cannonball in, right? You just take that cannonball, you take that first step, and you jump, and
You dive the fuck.
you dive in, and because of that, that's toughness, that's grit. Our kids can apply that to one-on-ones, right? You're fading away from the cage, you're not going to make it to the net, you're going to be easy to cover. So you got to at least try to make a play to the cage. And just giving them confidence. A lot of kids come out to the field and they have no confidence. The kids, they beat them up. They make fun of kids. There's that edge in competition in youth sports, and then just in sports in general. You hear the trash talkers of the leagues. It's unfortunately, you try to chirp it in the butt, but it's out there. So you just got to manage it as a coach. On a camp setting, it's a lot easier because it's not as competitive, but when you get out there on the tournament field, or just these serious things that people think that they are, it can get magnified pretty fast.
Especially 10, 20 games deep in a season, it's when tensions are running high.
Your team either is good or bad at that point. You have expectations set. So we'll see what happens. New season coming up. 2024, though. We have a fall season, per se, but we just do one tournament around Halloween, and then that's pretty much it. The weather changes. We move into indoor leagues, and then go skiing from there.
Right up.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Kind of transition right into skiing. You're a big skier, right?
Huge skier, East Coast skier. Went to Breckenridge the first time. It was my first kind of West Coast trip. I know Colorado. It was significantly different, but I feel like being an East Coast skier and skiing the crap, you get over there and you can really appreciate good powder, good terrain, nice lifts, and just awesome environment. Yeah, I've been skiing since, honestly, I've been 3 years old. When I was at college, I was a ski instructor at Mount Snow. Shout out Mount Snow.
Hey.
One of the best mountains on the East Coast. Not even kidding. No,
Have to bring back the shout-out counter.
Maybe
Oh,
not.
yeah, we got the counter.
We got a counter.
Shout out.
Throw that on the shout-out counter.
I think it's a shout-out season when it comes to Lake Thompson. Everyone wants a shout-out.
Shout out Mount Snow. But, yeah, no, I still work there, believe it or not. I've been working there now for, like, almost 6 years. And it's fun. I teach 7 to 14-year-olds how to ski. You know, I don't know. I love it. I do love it. You know, I think there's days where I'm like, I wish I was just skiing, or I might be skiing with, you know, my family or friends and stuff. But I look at the free pass and the perks and, like, just how I can take advantage of that, I think is a main reason why I love it, because ski tickets are just absolutely insane price and crazy. So
How would you rate the overall quality of Maine skiing?
I've never skied in Maine.
Oh, really?
I'm going to have to do that.
You'll have to come out this winter, for sure.
Yeah, I know. I've never done really New Hampshire. I've skied some Massachusetts mountains. The Lexington High School boys and girls alpine ski coach.
Hey,
Shout out.
Zach.
Girls are going to win states this year or next year.
Ooh.
You heard it from me on this podcast.
Calling
First,
the shots.
we got 3 girls that are absolute
killers.
studs. Like studs. I'm not going to say their names on camera, but they are. I'm just so excited to watch them ski. We go to Blue Hill, which is like this little big blue little double that has no snow underneath it, and then one trail to the left of it that's pretty steep. It's not too bad, but we race GS and I think slalom there. Yeah, this is my second year as a ski coach. I'm more of just like a technical skier, but just watching these girls ski, they're better than our boys, which is they're gonna win us states next year. It's gonna
That's
be
what's
sick.
up.
I can't wait. Our one girl tore ACL last year. She would have made states, but I don't know how well we would have done. But yeah, so that's my only experience really coaching girls. I've always coached boys, and I've always wondered what's the difference between girls and boys.
Right.
And I felt one thing was, out of nowhere, I recruited this girl, and we thought she was going to be a dud because she never was doing the workouts. Like, she never was, like, really serious about it.
Yeah.
And one day, she comes over to me, and she's, Coach, I got a problem. And I'm, like, thinking it's going to be, like, a normal problem. And I'm like, what? She's like, it's a girl problem. Talking about her period. And I'm like, dude, what? We got a girl coach right over there. Like, why are you telling me this? Got a little awkward in the beginning of the season. And I'm like, and the head coach is looking at me like, you bought in this girl. Kind of weirdo. And I'm like, all right. But then she turned out to be one of our better girls on our team. It turned out to be a positive, but I wasn't ready for that conversation.
You were not ready.
Usually the guys, there's some random conversations that you could deal with, but you can tell them to be quiet or
Deflect.
get away from me. Like, a girl tells you that, you can't. It's a serious problem for a second.
That's a very serious question to ask you right off the bat.
We're just talking as a coach's perspective here. That's it. So that was it. I was like, you just talk to the girl coach and she might be able to help you with that. Like, I don't know if I could really help you with that, or I don't know.
Maybe they're just testing you right off the bat and see like how serious of questions they could ask you.
That was the one time I was totally rattled as a coach.
I got a girl problem. What would you?
Did not have a problem. That was very interesting to say the least. So, but yeah, and then Ski Ward, another mountain, Berkshire East, all in Massachusetts, all quality. Massachusetts, Wachusett. I've been there before. That's actually not too bad. It's cool. They have a lot of lifts, nice lodge, decent amount of runs. I think I tracked like over 20 runs one day at Wachusett. Using like slopes or Strava. I like to track my runs and like look at my turns, and very technical skier. Very technical. Yeah, that's one thing I love to be, is like looking good when I ski and wakeboard, and just all around every day.
You ever do the back trails?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Breck was sick. Breck was awesome. There was, I think it was like Pat's Pitch or something like that. It was like this, moguls, trees. I was ready to go.
It's got to be in like a rush that you just can't explain.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I just take it really slow, and hopefully there's a lot of powder, and you calculate your turns, and when you feel like you got to get out or you're getting too much speed, you got to stop. Because it's one of those things that you can go fly into a tree, or like you can get stuck in a lot of snow, and next thing you're in a lot of trouble. So you do have to have respect for any mountain or
Mother
sport.
Nature. You gotta have a lot of respect for Mother Nature. That shit's no joke.
America too.
What's like the most like craziest thing that's happened to you while you were skiing? Anything like any crazy falls or anything like that? Or
no, thank God not for me. Knock on wood on that one.
No avalanches behind you, just fall down.
No
you
Yetis.
No, Yeti snowman, no. Craziest story was probably when I was a ski instructor. I had a group of maybe 10 kids, and I'll never forget. I took them down a roller coaster, because it's a roller coaster. I was building on speed control, right? You gain speed, you lose speed. You gain speed, but the rules of physics show that if you hit hills, you go exponentially faster or something. Not exponentially. We're going to have to get that fact check that. But you go faster. This girl, I went first. I booked it and wanted to watch the kids go after me. This girl's going, and she's out of control. I see her like, I'm like, oh no, heading to the trees. And I had to take her down. Like, I literally clotheslined this girl and brought her to the ground, and arguably saved her life in that moment.
oh,
That's lightning and thunder, which is pretty crazy.
Is that how it sounded when you clotheslined her?
That was pretty
straight
much
boom.
it. Cue the lightning, cue the thunder on that. Bring the noise, son. But
You ain't got to pay for them sound effects.
no, that's not even the worst part. The worst part is, as I turn back, I see this kid that's out of control, and I just see his ski just smash into the girl's face.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
So here I am thinking to myself, I'm like, this girl died. I'm gonna have to tell her parents that she died on the mountain. All right, how are we gonna? And then all of a sudden, I see her helmet move, and I see her face. I see everything move, and I'm like checking her nose. I checked her nose is broken, and she's totally fine. The ski hit the goggle and just deflected off of it, and that was that. And so we ski down the mountain. She's totally fine, and next thing you know, first people we see, her parents.
nice.
So yeah, I pretty much had to tell the story right there and then to her parents, and they were pretty cool about it. They were like, they saw that she was okay, and they didn't want her to get scared over other things, so they were like, we're just gonna let this go. We're gonna chalk this up to just an accident. Everything's cool. Just keep skiing with her. And I know, I was like, this is the coolest thing in the world. I was actually really nervous that this girl was gonna get
Sue your ass.
yeah, like I was.
This is the last time I'm ever gonna ski again.
Yeah.
Putting them up.
yeah.
This other time is pretty funny. It was like really cold. It must have been below zero. Like, it was significantly cold. And these kids, you could do one run and come in. Like, that's
how cold it
they're
was.
7-year-olds. They're not staying out there for the whole entire day. And I have these kids that are like crying on the chairlift, and I'm like, We ski down, and they're like, we don't want to ski anymore. We're done skiing. And they just stop. And I'm like, no, you guys, we need to get up. We can go to the lodge. This is not the warmest spot to stop. We need to keep moving. And the kids wouldn't get up. And I'm like, look, you need to suck it up, and you need to deal with this right now. We need to go. And they did. We got in the lodge. The next day, I see the kid, and I'm like, Max, what's up, dude? Like, how you doing? And he doesn't even acknowledge me. The parents don't acknowledge me. And I'm like, all right. And then all of a sudden, my boss comes up to me, and she's like, yeah, I just want to let you know that Max is going to be in your group today. The mom had a little issue with you and how you treated her son yesterday. She said that you, like, told him to suck it up when he was cold. I told him, or them, that you didn't say that because I know you better. And I'm like, I definitely told that kid to suck it up. Like, I was definitely like, dude, you need to get your butt up out of the snow and let's go. Because no one, I mean, like, everyone that I hang out with or my mom or anyone like that would say that to me. So it's
get your shit, get it
like,
together.
I'm like, dude, let's go right now. No one has time to watch you freeze. Let's go.
Not on my fucking watch. Not letting the
definitely
6-year-old
not.
get frozen out here.
Definitely
No way.
not. Definitely not.
No, that's a tough lesson learned. But what are you gonna do? You're gonna die out there when
Yeah.
you're freezing. You gotta suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah, I'm out here on my tractor during the wintertime freezing my ass off. You just keep on trucking, my guy.
I will say code yellows are a serious issue sometimes with 7-year-olds. And if you don't know what a code yellow is,
Oh,
I have no-
Code yellow?
Think about it.
Code
Oh
yellow.
yeah,
Think
oh
about it.
yeah.
Code yellow.
Put
Oh,
it
yeah.
all together.
It's not a lemon popsicle. Snow
No,
cone.
no lemon popsicles. No,
Lemon
not,
snow cone.
Not
Or
like a
popsicle.
Monsters Inc. Man,
No,
like yellow snow
definitely not.
cones. No.
Definitely not. So you
No.
gotta be careful with that.
No
So-
code brown.
There's some code browns, unfortunately, but
You had a code red.
I don't have to deal with that. Usually, the 7-year-olds are potty trained by then. I mean, most common question as a
God.
teacher.
The code red,
I
no.
don't know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, code
That's your
red.
first day as
Yeah,
being.
no. Code brown. Thankfully, not. They're usually older, but every now and then there's a younger one that is pretty bad sometimes.
Also, I want to
Yeah.
give you a thank you for taking us wakeboarding today, my guy.
Oh, that was
It was a-
awesome. Yeah.
I took quite a spill today, but
I know, that was pretty nuts. You were pretty good. You're doing jumps, you're doing tricks. We got some video footage of it. Got some video footage of me. Hopefully we got...
we'll definitely get it posted up here during the beginning or the outro.
I'm trying to think, do we get the Switch? Do we get my Switch or no?
I'll have to definitely check if I
'Cause
got the
that's about it.
Switch.
That's the only thing I could really do. That's pretty cool.
It was pretty
so-
bumpy out there today, though.
Yeah, it was
pretty bumpy. You
not
know?
the good cracking.
I love it.
No, it
I
wasn't,
love it.
unfortunately.
Yeah, no.
It's definitely like a different. It's so different doing like surfboarding or snowboarding and wakeboarding. Like, what do you like better, snowboarding or wakeboarding? Since you've done both now.
I feel like I control my speed, obviously, more on a snowboard as opposed to being behind a boat. I don't know. I'm more confident on a snowboard, but wakeboarding is fun. Actually, the first time I did it was in Vermont. It was on a random, I think in Wilmington, Vermont. I don't know, but out here it's amazing, and
Thompson Lake.
I want to get more into wake surfing. I don't know. Wake surfing's more like easy on your body. You're not, but obviously that requires a boat, which I don't have right now. We just got to take opportunities when we get them and go wake surfing and wakeboarding when we can. But stand-up paddleboarding is a passion of mine that I love, and Lake Thompson is one of the best places to go stand-up paddleboarding.
Absolutely, especially like in the mornings when it's just like dead calm, sun's rising. Get your paddle in, hear the birds,
Yep.
see all the eagles,
There
which
you
is
go.
always crazy.
I agree. It was pretty cool going across the lake, looking at the bald eagles that are in the nest right now. So if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you've never been there. So
We'll definitely get some pictures out
If
there.
you know,
and
you
show 'em.
know.
Yeah,
You
dude,
know,
it's,
you know.
it's crazy how like loons and eagles are just not friends of each other, and they just fight each other, which is crazy. Those are two big ass birds, and they happen to have both of them on the lake.
yeah, the loons are pretty cool. Before Maine, I never really knew what a loon was, and now they're the most iconic things. And trying to paddle after them or see them swim or just hear them calls are pretty
I'm
cool.
petrified of them.
They're pretty
Oh, yeah.
huge.
They're
Like,
aggressive.
huge birds with red eyes, so they definitely look like
Demon birds.
scary. I get it, but no.
Yeah, no, gotta get paddle buds going, my guy.
Paddle buds. Oh, I wish. I gotta figure it out. I don't know. It's either there's so many different business models with paddle buds you can go for. I think the model that I was going for, that I was trying to sell people on, is paddleboard rental /
Less.
lesson. Yeah,
Yeah.
lesson. I'm the paddleboard instructor. I give you a lesson for maybe a half hour, 15 minutes, depending on your experience level. Give you some tips, give you some pro strategies to succeed on a paddleboard, and then you can tour Lake Thompson, probably stay in the cove.
Continuing on, the paddle buddies.
Paddle buds.
Paddle buds.
Paddle buds.
Paddle
which
buds.
Is, which
Paddle
is a great
buds.
name.
Let's go back to paddle buds.
Basically, he'd be a tutor. So you would have you come out and you could either teach you what to do. If you know what you're doing, then you could let you rent it out. So it's like those bikes. You could rent out a bike for a certain amount of time throughout the day. You track it, you get everything going, and return it at the end of the day.
Oh, that's a solid idea, especially on the lake. Unless they sink, but I don't think they sink, right?
Oh, no, they definitely don't. Unless you get the inflatable ones and you're a dipshit and you pop it, but you shouldn't be.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, unique to New England is the cannabis market, so paddle buds.
Yeah, paddle buds.
I don't know how we're going to really incorporate that, but
so what you do is, what they should do.
we're thinking about the name.
I don't know what the name it is, but maybe we can have Ian fact check it. There's a yoga studio in Scarborough. They do a session before they actually do their yoga. They smoke or they medicate before they actually do their yoga instructing, so that's the same thing with paddle buds. You go through the lesson before you go out on the board, so you can smoke them up, or they buy the package deal. They buy a candle or something
piece of
to
art,
partake.
and then you get,
Definitely got some lawyers I can have you help set that up for you.
I'm going more with the first model, but at the same
Yeah.
time, we're like any option is open, just because
It's
the
Maine.
name is endless. Paddle
Yeah.
buds.
You like the idea of a little yoga, a little paddle boarding?
I would love to have a yoga
paddleboard,
studio.
Yeah, definitely.
It's Maine Ganja Yoga.
Maine
Maine
Ganja
Ganja
yoga.
Yoga.
Shout out to them.
I mean,
Shout out to Ian. That's his first fact check in his new role.
We're gonna get
That's
that.
a shout out. First of many. And we appreciate him.
I'm trying to find.
He's cheesing
what's
like
the
a
cost
pizza
on
over
it?
it.
What is it per hour? Or what do you get with it? Or that's
Are you talking about Ian or the
first
yoga?
significant. I was talking about the yoga.
He gets 50 cents per
No, we're
for
talking
search.
About the yoga. We're talking about the yoga
I think
Paris actually.
because
Huh?
South Paris.
Yeah,
it's in South Paris.
Nomad Women's Weekend. It's
Nomads Women Weekend.
retreat
Shout out to them and
South Paris.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, that's right down the way. Hey, we're gonna have to give them a
Alright, so
call,
you see,
man.
This
A
business
shout out and
model
a
is
reach
not
out.
that far fetched. I'm
Dude.
like, within the legalities of enterprise,
We're gonna
then we gotta figure it out.
Take some lessons from them. Get them on the Epicast. Maybe do like a
Get 'em
lesson
on
and
the
do a
Epi.
session.
If
See
you
how
want,
it's all
you can
about.
book a retreat too. If
See.
you go to bookyogaretreats.com, you can see the top 10 cannabis yoga retreats in Maine.
Interesting. So you can go online, get
See?
the top
I
10
mean,
cannabis. I
I
know
don't know.
there's a couple like this. I think it's called like Laughing Farms, or excuse me, I'm messing that one up. But it was like the first place where you can go camping and smoke. They like provide everything for
Oh.
Laughing Grass Farms, or
Oh, it's in Harrison, if I stand correct.
I believe you're correct. I believe
Yeah.
you're correct.
So you go out there. So it's like an Airbnb, and you go out there for a day or two. But like
Okay.
even the cabin is shaped like a weed plant or weed shaped. It's like each
or
cabin.
paddleboard.
Yeah, no, that's the one
That's
we're
that.
actually talking about. It's
That's
called.
the-
It's like a place. It's
Thinking
like a.
paddle buds here.
So it's like an
paddleboard.
adult campground.
I don't think they got paddleboarding.
No, they don't. They
They
should
don't
though.
go
They should.
paddleboarding.
They should though.
All right.
It's like, man, imagine Camp Kohut
So
is
they
like
just
weed based.
smoke.
Each cabin is named as like a different strain. It's like Blue Dream is like the cabin, so it's all Blue
Alright.
Dream themed.
Alright.
And then it's Sour
Oh,
Diesel. That's the one that we're talking about. It's an actual business in Maine. It's in Harrison,
Okay.
and you rent it out for the day. It's like $100, and you get the day and the night, and then you check out in the morning, and you bring your own samples and everything too. So it's kind of cool.
All right, we get to look at that as a possible option for paddle buds as
Oh,
well.
absolutely.
And we'll see how it
No,
goes.
they'll go to Camp Kohut and be like, "Hey
going to
kids,
paddles.
while your parents leave, here's some paddle buds. Come out."
Whenever I think of camps like that in Maine, it always just brings back Wet Hot American Summer. That's what I always think about. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but
I
literally,
think I've seen like the previews on Netflix, but never like actually seen it.
it's like a super sleeper movie. It's a great summer movie. Paul Rudd. In
I was just
it.
gonna say Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd makes every movie. We were talking about.
Shout out to
that the
Paul
other day.
Rudd. Love that guy.
Yeah, shout out to Paul Rudd.
Never really talked to him, but give him a shout out.
I hope he's a good guy. I don't know.
He was in the last Ninja Turtles movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem, as Mondo Gecko.
Is it good?
It was the best part was the ending of it. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's like a Marvel movie where if you stay to the end, it's worth it. And that was honestly the best part of the movie, which was sad, but also like extremely hyping to look forward to the future. It was a starting point. Michael Bay destroyed it, destroyed the Ninja Turtles, and there hasn't been a good Ninja Turtle movie since like Ninja Turtles 1 or 2. We're talking about like 1992 here.
Yeah, we're talking almost predates me.
Yeah, like I am very upset about that. But
For all those listeners, Michael is literally one of the biggest Ninja Turtle fans I've ever seen.
yes, sir.
Respect.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I did wear a Leonardo T-shirt to the viewing. After watching it, I quickly regretted it because of how lame Leonardo was actually in the movie. But I had to give respect to the leader in blue. And I should have wore Raphael or Mikey because that would have been so much better.
Raphael is Thad Castle from Blue Mountain State in the newer ones.
I mean, they were actually bad-ass characters.
Yeah.
Leonardo was a tool, so I was a little bit
Thad
upset.
Castle, I believe, was in a soap opera for a while too.
No, that's
that
Alex Moran. He's
Yeah.
in Days of Our Lives, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I got you. These
They
are
always-
all
they always
Blue
have-
Mountain State characters.
They have that on the highlights on Planet Fitness in the morning. You're like, Days of Our Lives. You're like, yo, why is Alex Moran on the TV?
You do gotta love Planet Fitness. Shout out Planet Fitness for a second. Member of Planet Fitness, so
You got two
Their
members.
cancellation fee is a bitch, though. You gotta personally be in there and cancel that shit.
Yeah, bank people do not like.
Oh, they
Planet
fucking
Fitness.
hate it.
you watch people work out and they actually do some crazy workouts at Planet Fitness. Like,
Oh,
they're-
it's
Yeah.
like National Geographic in
like
that
all
bitch.
the videos and
Fucking-
memes and of people like hanging from machines it's totally real if you go to Planet Fitness.
it's like-
Anyone you go to.
It's like a hot take. What's the craziest shit you've ever seen at Planet Fitness gym? You guys seen some crazy shit.
Just some outfits this guy wore. Literally, it was like a tank top, but like just
the nips.
and then like almost booty shorts. And like it clearly says you have to wear a shirt and shorts.
Great.
But the guy was ripped. I gotta give it to him.
Yeah, who's gonna tell him?
No one
you
was
know?
gonna say anything to the steroids guy, but at the same time, worn to Planet Fitness are, I think, some of the best. I try to have my Planet Fitness game outfit pretty strong with shorts every now and then, maybe some socks.
No cutoff?
No, I don't. Sleeve Monster. Not Sleeve Monster's not getting my sleeves. No way.
No
No way. No way. I know the one guy that walks around with the sleeves cut off. Sunglass tan just doesn't look good.
Oh, no.
We'll let it go.
Every single day he's just on the bench. Every single day. Yo, gotta be a turtle. Gotta be huge.
Just straight push press, shoulder press, all day.
225 every day, just
No, and calf raises.
Oh, yeah.
Shock the glutes once or twice, and then
Dude, I hate the thing about Planet
protein
Fitness.
shake.
Oh, yeah, protein shake. Like mid-set, he's like,
Protein shake.
got to get the gains.
There you
It's like,
go.
oh my god. The worst is Monday. There's not a fucking chance in hell you can get any chest done. It's International Chest Day for everybody there.
On Monday.
And then 4 o'clock,
You
it's
heard
like,
it here. Monday, chest day.
Legs
internet-
Wednesday.
oh yeah,
CrossFit Friday.
oh yeah.
Friday.
Everyone knows the tool muscles are on Friday.
There you go.
Flexing Friday. It's always for the guys. It's like the arms, and like girls, it's always leg day or some shit like that. They're like,
Biceps every day.
oh yeah. It's got to crow for the girls every day. Dude, some of the people in the gyms just make me fucking go bonkers. Absolutely.
My favorite's always the old Ric Flair looking motherfuckers that just drop trow right in the locker room, just old man
Oh
dick
my
right up in your
God.
face when you're just trying to tie your shoes.
Dude,
That can be obnoxious.
there's a guy well known at the Auburn gym in Maine.
Ah,
He's
Jesus.
straight Captain Morgan's that shit. When you walk in, his legs like on the bench and he's just wang out. It's just like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, I don't fucking clearly it's hanging. Like, how's it going? Like, it's the first thing I want to see when I get in the gym is just old man dick. It's
You
just
heard it.
like-
That's the first thing.
Planet Fitness, baby. This is what you're missing here.
It's like you get your motivation, your pre-workout, and you got that song, and you're like, yeah, I'm fucking ready to go. Then you just see a short and shriveled gray-haired dick all afternoon.
Oh,
Great. Yeah.
Ah, Jesus. Ian,
that-
can you pull up a couple pictures?
You have to go to chat roulette
Take
for that.
Yeah, chat roulette.
Take safe search off.
My God.
No blur.
No blur. Yeah.
Yeah, Planet Fitness is a crazy place, so you just gotta be careful every now and then.
Dude, they're fucking.
Think you do the 30-minute workout, and next thing you know,
Remember that one guy who
You're
got shot
scarred.
outside of our Planet Fitness?
Yeah,
There was
dude.
a shooting outside.
Yeah, there was
Pull
like
something on that.
2018,
Planet
19. Was that before COVID?
No, it was like
During?
2019. It was like right before.
It was before, yeah. I think, yeah, right
It
before
might have been
COVID.
like early 2020.
Oh, dude, I just got out of work and I walked over and the cops were out there and they're like, what's going on? Or the main people in the gym, and they're like, hey, what's going on? I was like, I don't know, but apparently some dude just got fucking stabbed right in front of the flagship cinema in Auburn. I was just like, holy shit.
Shout out to the flagship cinema in Auburn.
Oh, I thought you were going to say shout out to the guy that got stabbed.
Count that on
like,
the counter.
Jesus.
We leave the counter going. That's great.
What's your favorite thing about Maine, Michael? What makes you come back every single
I
time?
like the direction you took there.
Let's talk about life here.
I just like the
Life.
wilderness aspect of it. Very, open. I mean, I've always lived in like a major city, like Atlanta or close to New York City. I live right outside of Boston, so it's like coming up here. It's not a major city. You go to Portland. I've only been once for a barbecue place, but
Hey,
pretty good barbecue. I gotta remember the name of the place.
Hey.
Next podcast.
There's quite a few though. There's quite a few barbecue places.
No, but just like hiking the mountains, jumping in the lakes. You'd think the water's freezing up here, but it's actually pretty warm during the summer. at
Oh, yeah,
least.
during the summer.
During the summer.
2 months out of the
Yeah,
year. Yeah,
2 months
for
out of the
sure.
year.
jump in with me in March when I put the dock in, guy. It's fucking shit nippy cold.
We'll see. We'll see. But I don't know. Obviously, wanted to go skiing, like you said, just the outdoors. That's what brings me to Maine. Got one friend other than this area that lives in Maine, but he lives in Portland.
Nice.
I don't know. Does cold dips, like in the ocean. I don't know if I'm about that, but
Rogan, it's like Rogan's got the whole tank at his house where he does the cold dip. So I think there's something to it, but I tried just throwing a little cold water in the shower in the morning, and that wakes me right up. So I don't got to do that for 30 minutes or anything crazy.
No, I just turned it just a little bit over in this thing. That's it. Like, I have this shit cranked all the way on hot. No way. I'm cold-blooded, motherfucker.
yeah, paddleboarding up here on the lakes I think is awesome. There's no currents, there's no waves, there's just glass all day. So
No fucking sharks just eating
no sharks,
ya.
no crocodiles.
What
no-
are some of the challenges, or what makes it, would you say paddleboarding's difficult, or what would make it challenging?
What makes it challenging for people is the stability of it. They don't have the balance to stay on the board, or they position themselves on the board wrong, so the board's not as mobile or stable or whatever. So I don't know. It's always funny to watch beginners because they always hold the paddle wrong. Sticker out usually, or logo out, or when it faces away from you. So you always see them holding it the wrong way. And then you also see them just, their knees they look like they're on skates. Their ankles are about to break on the board, and you're like, dude, you're on flat.
Doing the
ground.
Elvis Presley, just
Yeah.
doing the wobble.
And a lot of the thing is, I think a lot of people don't know how to swim. So it's one sport that you need to know how to swim, because when
Yeah.
you're first starting, if you fall, like I think that's why my one friend doesn't do it, because I've always been like, dude, here's a board, let's go, let's try it, and he's always been really hesitant to do it, and I'm like, it's okay, you fall off, you just get
Swim.
back on.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are hesitant to do it because they don't know how to swim, but.
Technically, you're supposed to have a life jacket with you.
You can have. It's always recommended. I do usually have a life jacket tied to the front of it.
Like those ones that flight up on your legs or some shit like that.
Yeah, like a standard life jacket. It's good to have. You're supposed to have it because
You never know.
You
You
never
never
know.
know.
no, I've never. No, I think the coldest water I might have fell in was in Georgia in the Chattahoochee River, and that was like
Chattahoochee River.
Chattahoochee, shooting the hooch.
I just saw that the other day because I believe I started watching the first like 20 minutes of Cocaine Bear before I fell asleep.
There you go.
It actually seemed promising. No cap. Seemed promising, but yeah, I think that's where the cocaine ended up, was in Chattahoochee, if I'm not mistaken.
You hear about them cocaine sharks,
I
man?
was gonna say cocaine sharks making the news 2023. There's like,
Cocaine
That's
sharks?
That's a real shit,
Yeah.
man. It's like a problem.
there's
They're
like sharks off of Florida that can
Yeah,
actively,
they're
like,
fucking
see-
eating all the cocaine and they're
Yeah.
going fucking nuts.
supposedly
bro.
reported by the news.
Yeah,
We can
it's-
fact check it if we
it's
need
a-
to. But
Dude, they're already making a movie, Cocaine Sharks, and it's gonna be like based on true story.
The sequel?
Oh
cocaine
yeah.
shark versus cocaine bear.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, but
There's always the question, what would you take, a cocaine bear or a cocaine lion? Or tiger? Or tiger, probably, because it's
I
bigger
think
than
you
a
gotta go
lion.
bear. Bears are just bigger, right?
Do you think you could like? Do you think you could
Bad
beat up a bear
situation,
like on
but-
cocaine?
No.
Shit, no.
They actually came out with a new survey. We can check this out too, of like how many people thought they could beat up a bear. I don't know what the percentage was, but it was. I mean, I guess it was
How big's a
high
bear?
considering.
How big's a bear
I mean,
though?
a bear could be like
Is it like
anywhere from like 5 to 10 feet high. I mean, they could be pretty hot.
Unless you're a Russian wrestler, I don't expect you to beat a bear.
What's the average size of a baby bear?
No, not baby bear.
Cocaine shark is already.
We're talking about like a significant bear here.
Already
Maybe-
made the
Yeah,
movie?
exactly.
Like before Cocaine Bear?
You
No,
can watch
after.
for free on Tubi.
Tubi.
Shout
Watch
out.
that.
They have one of the seasons of Hell's Kitchen on there.
Shout out animals that do cocaine.
It's got a solid 2.3 out of 10 on IMDb.
Fucking, it's got my vote. It's
They're
got my
crazy.
vote for sure.
That's insane. But
It's like the Charlie Sheen of sharks.
Might have been a
It's
catch
fucking-
trap.
and people that make movies about it. All right.
Bears, the average size, you're looking at like 1,000 pounds guy.
Depends on the bear, because they always say if it's black, attack. If it's brown, lay down. That's the old bear
Well,
saying.
if a black bear's attacking you,
As someone that
Yes.
watches Bear Grylls and the Discovery Channel and Animal Planet, and like taking all of that data in for a second. Yeah, I don't know what the best idea is to stop a bear.
I thought
You can't run it, but you can't.
It's fight,
Crunching
flight,
the
or
numbers
freeze.
here.
Gouge the nose or the eye. I can't. It's one
That's
of
a
the
shark.
two.
That's a shark.
Yeah,
the
the
shark,
eyes.
yeah.
A bear supposedly you're supposed to like force it back, or I don't know.
Grab its balls or
Yeah.
something.
That's a dog.
They only bite when
A
you
dog,
just-
dude. That's where you
No,
got a
that's
dog
a
off
finger
your
in,
arm.
finger in the
Yeah,
butt.
you gotta. You just gotta finger her ass, and it's weird to do.
the
But
average
what?
size of a female black bear is sow, which is
A sow?
yeah, sow.
So
is
average female black bear size.
Four is male.
Yeah.
For female, it's 175.
175.
For
How
male, it's 400.
how tall are they?
You're looking at
175 is how much they weigh?
Yeah.
like
Pounds?
6'8",
Yeah, they're not that big.
6'8".
4 feet to 6'8". Males, dog.
That's the male, right?
So maybe if you fight.
They still have skulls.
still-
though,
There's
that are
no way.
like-
I'm not beating up a bear. I'm not saying I'm beating up a bear.
No, their skulls.
But I
like,
think
they're
there's-
6 times thicker than a human.
There might be some
So it's
humans
like,
that can
no
beat
way
up a
you
bear,
knock it
but
out.
I'm not one of them.
I think you can wrestle a bear. I don't think you can actually beat up a bear though. Its head is too dense for you to beat it up. They bash it off.
What about like
trees.
an MMA fighter?
I think you can
Would you-
choke out a bear. I don't think you can box a bear. I think it's absolutely.
You don't think one of those guys would just like, destroy?
Francis Ngannou would fuck up a bear.
No, he wouldn't.
Oh,
No.
actually, a bullshit.
No.
Oh,
Let's give it to the
fucking,
voters
Khabib-
that are
Khabib
listening to this
wrestles bear.
podcast.
Yeah.
You tell us in the
Khabib
comments.
could wrestle a bear.
Khabib,
But he
he's
ain't knocking it out.
150.
He ain't knocking it
So
out.
Khabib could wrestle a bear at 150, but Francis
taking-
Ngannou, who's 260 pounds, could not.
It's
What's-
the density of a bear's skull is the reason you can't knock it out. It's gonna
Bro,
bash
the
its
density
head
of
off
Francis
trees for
Ngannou's
fun.
fist would fuck somebody's face right up. You see that guy in Jackass? His nuts
Yeah.
are crushed for life.
Your nuts and a bear's skull are two different densities. Very
That's true.
different densities.
But he was wearing
yeah.
a cup too, though.
That was part of the problem.
If we can get a graphic of those on the podcast, just so the viewers can see.
Sometimes wearing the cup when you get punched in the nuts is counterproductive because the ring outside the cup is where you take the impact and you'll bruise all the way around the outside of your cup.
I never
Speaking
done-
from experience.
I never
Lacrosse goalie. There you go.
Yeah, I
Bringing
can see
back-
that being a goalie and all, but like when I was in football, they say wear cup. I'm like, why? Like,
Never.
that shit like
Never.
fucking pop nuts, dude. Are you kidding me? Like, running down the feed and you just got your nut just like popped in there.
Gym class hockey goalie. You got to be careful. You got to bring your own cup.
That might be a cup.
You got
That's
to
a
bring
cup.
You
your
gotta wear
own
the, but the
cup
ones you,
to gym
not the-
class hockey. Okay, for all you rookie hockey guys out
gym
there.
class hero over here.
Jeez, yeah, I was playing goalie in hockey, no doubt. I played
Yeah.
goalie. I was a goalie,
Well, it makes sense. You're a little crazy, man.
and you learn the hard way very quick. To
I was a defenseman getting slapped by my own goalie to get out of the fucking way.
Mike Richter, Lundqvist, Tuukka Rask. I'll give it to him. That's about it. Chris Osgood,
Here's an
Dominic
animal.
Hasek, my boys.
Martin Brodeur.
Marta, he's a devil. I got to give it to him a little bit.
I don't like the Devils, but I do respect him.
Yeah, I got to give it to him. He's a good goalie. But yeah, I used to practice hockey goalie downstairs all the time, and then translated especially well into gym class where no one played hockey.
Get the fuck out of my way.
We used, to
go.
play, we used to play knee hockey back in the day with them little hockey sticks and the little mini net, and then you just get the biggest kid and put them in net because like you take up 3/4 of it. So we used to set pick plays on the goalie. We'd have someone go stand out front of them and then just absolutely
One of
pick
the
them
plays
up.
is just take out the goalie.
Yeah, there's no rules in knee hockey. Keep it light, but keep
Definitely
it fun.
not.
But sometimes the goalie takes a few shots.
So you said you were originally from New York?
Long Island.
Long
Yep,
Island?
New York, Long Island.
How different is that from out here? The lifestyle and everything like that. I mean, you've been to Maine for quite a bit. Like, how different is the New York life compared to Maine? Quite different, or?
It could be just as slow if you live on the North Fork or the South Fork of Long Island. I mean, it's like a slower way of life, a lot of farms, not as built up, but it's still New York, so you still have that fast pace. egg sandwich on every corner, 7-Eleven.
Pete Davidson walking down the street,
Exactly.
running that place. That's Staten Island. That ain't Long
Yeah,
Island.
it's a little bit different.
Wrong island. Wrong island.
Yeah.
Do you carry like any of the slang with you still?
I don't
Like
really
that
have
there?
too much of an accent. That's one thing a lot of people tell me, and I understand this because I teach in Massachusetts, and they do trainings of like teachers from Massachusetts, and their accents. I lived in Georgia for 10 years. That's just as bad too. But like the two like most dynamic accents in the countries is probably Georgia and Boston. Like they or like Alabama, or like a really south like southern drawl, and like a really hardcore like Boston, or even like a Mississippi or Alabama or Georgia, and then you have Boston. And it's, if you put those people in a room together, you wouldn't understand a word that they were saying.
Which one's worse? Since you've seen both sides.
I think worse is
sides.
subjective.
Yeah,
though. I just
yeah.
think
Which
when it
one's
comes
harder to
accent-
understand?
No, they're
More like
both. They're both. Like any like like Shaq, or Pack, or like this. That's like a serious thing. And but any W, like white, or like why, or like where. Or it's very drawn out. So there's different, and just hearing them speak and try to teach reading, it's very funny because it's like, why did the white dog go here? And it's like, why would you ever teach a kid to where if they were saying a Boston accent, try to help me out with something that they might say in a Boston accent.
Oh, I don't know. They said
Started you up on tumble down a mountain, started rolling down the hill. Suppose that's why they call it tumble down.
There you
sounds
go.
like that's a Maine though.
Like a tumble down.
But that's
I don't know,
Maine or
yeah.
Boston, not that much different.
So
Pretty
it's
close.
just-
I just don't even want to attempt to just butcher
Smart
it up.
pack, pack the con, two like smart
Where's the
pack.
bag guy?
Exactly. And then people are reading like this, and it's like, shouldn't we get like a neutral like accent?
someone
and, you know,
actually,
like-
yeah.
yeah. So I say like chocolate, weird, water. Anytime I say water, kids would be like water, like Coke. No, so
Water?
What? Like the New Jersey
like
folks
a
throw a
water.
D in it.
Oh, you said water?
Water. Go get your water.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Coming
So,
from, you said New York, Georgia, where do your loyalties lie when it comes to sports?
New York Jets, baby. New York Jets. All right. Let me just
Quick
tell you this.
answer.
Let me
I
just tell you
believe
this
it.
right
Shout
now.
out to the Jets.
I
he
made it
says.
15 minutes without acknowledging. I got my Dolphin shirt on. We got football starting up this week as this is being released. But
Think about this. Aaron Rodgers went into a dark room for almost 2 weeks. Like,
On a lot of drugs.
I mean, he went in on his own terms, okay? And what did the man do? The man picked the New York Jets to fulfill his prophecy, okay? As a Jet fan, I've never been so excited in my life to have a former, only 2 years ago, MVP quarterback who destroys the NFC North, NFC North, yeah, NFC North.
you talking about this, where the Jets are?
We're the Bears.
Oh, the Jets, yeah,
And
NFC.
NFC North.
NFC, no.
NFC North, right? The
Yeah.
Vikings, the
Yep.
the Lions, the Bears,
God.
and then you have the Packers, long-term Packer.
Well, Aaron Rodgers is like the gatekeeper of almost getting there, though.
Doesn't matter. He's with
He's
the Jets. now.
almost
It's different.
getting there.
It's different. It's the most
Just-
exciting team in the NFL right now, arguably speaking.
Oh, because they're on Hard Knocks.
Because they have everything
They're
going
on
for
high,
them.
yeah.
They have everything going for them right
Bro, last time they were on Hard Knocks, I'm pretty sure Rex Ryan said, let's go get a sandwich.
That's when he was talking about his foot fetish, and that's when Darrell Rivas couldn't name off all of his kids.
now. Yeah, and look at Rex Ryan compared to Aaron Rodgers. I'll take Aaron Rodgers any day. Okay, he's the prophecy. Rex Ryan.
You think he's been actually running that shit? Like running the organization like he
Player
did?
coach.
I don't know. I think he's helping our coach out a lot. Our coach has a lot to learn. He made some mistakes last year, but
They were
ultimately-
decent last year.
Yeah, no.
Young team, though.
You're in a tough division
They're
right now,
horrible.
though. You got the Dolphins, who are just killing it right now.
Coming
you
from
got
a
the,
Dolphins fan.
You got the
so, like, I don't
Bills.
want-
You got the Bills, who are clearly at the top. You got the Patriots, who are going to get a participation award and
Yeah.
probably steal a game or two from a team that deserves
It's
it.
one of the most competitive divisions in the NFL. Thank you, Aaron Rodgers, for making it a better
Thank you,
division.
Tyreek Hill.
And yeah, Tyreek Hill. Dolphins are good. Obviously, they've made a lot of offseason.
They made a lot of splash in the
Josh
league.
Allen.
But New York Jets win the Super Bowl this year. You heard it on this podcast first, and I just have to believe in my boy Aaron Rodgers and the faith in my team. I mean, everyone goes into the NFL season saying they win a Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl,
Miami
Dolphins.
Dolphins. Calling
I'm not
it right
saying
here.
that because I'm a Jet fan, but
we got a 1 in 16 chance of at least one of us picking it right here now.
that's what I'm saying. The odds-
Trotter, I know he's Arizona Cardinals fan. He is not.
Yeah,
saying
we're
any-
fucked.
Is it Kyler Murray is still the quarterback?
He's still recovering from the surgery.
I just credit to the guy, hardcore worker, but he just
I have a lot of mixed feelings.
He got hurt.
about it.
He got hurt, and he just can't cut it. Fantasy-wise, can't cut it.
I did not hear the hard worker part of Kyler Murray. I heard he's hard working on his Twitch, but I don't think he's hard working.
hard
I've heard a lot of different things about different people that's told it from us.
He's a hard worker. You might be playing video games all night, but at the same time, you put in that work, all right? You might not have a job the next day, but you're putting in that work.
We'll see. It's a very interesting season.
I feel like he might be doing the new Johnny Manziel movie came out on Netflix, and the one takeaway that I had is Johnny Manziel was given a tablet with all the information. Kind of was it Jamarcus, the dude who used Jamarcus Russell, yeah.
First round.
Oh, Stephen A. Smith went hard on him.
And Johnny Manziel had the tablet, and the team knew he wasn't watching footage because there was 0 hours recorded of screen time on the tablet.
That is pretty crazy.
So that was like the big takeaway, and that's what I fear with Kyler Murray. I don't think his tablet has much screen time, or his girlfriend be watching it for him. Calling it.
I don't know, man.
I don't even know if he's got a girl, but
That's tough. That's tough. As a professional athlete, you think that they would have that discipline to put in that work, but
It shows.
hey,
It shows.
no, but at that level, if you're that big of a quarterback and you're that elite, like what separates you? It's probably
Well,
watching film.
the one thing that corrupts is money. Once you get that case, your mindset changes, and it's hard for me, who's never obviously got that case before, to understand what actually changes. We can give our idea what we think would change, like how our spending and everything would change, but I guess you truly never know until you actually have the more money and the more problems, as they used to say.
Dude, the amount of money these players are getting right now are it's ridiculous.
It's
Crazy.
pretty nuts. Look at Lionel Messi, just like
Great.
the money that he was offered to play for Saudi Arabia and come here for the United States, like the amount of money he's going to make and like the opportunities and the amount of goals he's going to score exponentially because he plays in one of the worst leagues in the world, but at the same time he's Lionel Messi and he can score on demand, which is amazing. But yeah, that's the reality we live in.
Heads turn when goals are scored, so that's probably good for the sport of soccer in the U.S. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, no, it
But,
is.
you know.
There's a lot of good things, but
I remember when David Beckham came to town. I want to say probably a 2010 range, and I remember it not being a great success. Like
Bend
he
it like
showed
Beckham.
up, people sold some places out, but then he wouldn't play much.
The
I don't think
Messi
Messi's
effect.
going to do that. I don't think he's going to bend it like Beckham did, but
Messi, it's the Messi effect. The ticket prices have gone up. They've already sold out. There's jersey you can't order until October. Like it's absolutely insane. It's here. It's crazy, and it will be crazy for at least a year or two until he turns 37 and can't play anymore. Or not. He could play forever. That guy. He's gonna in the MLS. He can play for a long time. In the European leagues, he's gonna be challenged.
yep.
So, but shout out Messi, my boy,
Shout out Messi.
my boy.
Doing it right.
Yeah, doing it Messi.
Who's your sleeper team this year in football? You got so high hopes for your Jets. Who do
No,
you
it's all
think
about the Jets. So there is no sleeper team. It's the Jets. It's the Jets or bust. The Georgia Bulldogs, I think, are my sleeper team. Yeah, all right.
Oh,
Michigan.
number 1 and number 2 in the Reagan.
Michi, bro? Do we even have to go there?
Yeah, I still want to get the
we said
the hot takes
We said
going.
we were not
here.
going to talk about this before. These were one things. No Michis.
Oh, God.
That's all right. Don't worry.
Michigan's going to win a national championship.
Yeah,
I believe I've
right.
already announced it on probably every podcast
I
we've
mean,
done.
Georgia back-to-back repeats on. Go Dogs.
I think you two should
Go
just have a
Dogs.
bet about who's going to win it this year, because
Go
they'll probably
Dogs.
play against each other. You never know.
Go
There's a
Dogs.
good chance.
There's a good
See
chance.
each other.
Go Dogs.
There's some obstacles in
Dogs?
the way of both teams.
Do you think they're gonna repeat it? Is this
Without doubt.
You don't think they're gonna slip one game in the SEC?
that's a Michigan
I
thing?
don't know. They're at an elite level. They're now the new Alabama. They're sick. Michigan has to get over Ohio State. They might lose.
Get over them. They beat them 2 straight years.
Yeah, after losing a
decisively.
2 of how many years in a row?
But they've smacked them the last 2 years.
It doesn't matter. It's coming back. Ohio State's coming back. We'll see what happens to Michi this
Michigan's
year.
got better recruiting classes coming in. Michigan is
We will
elite,
see.
and Michigan's gonna stay at the top
will
for
see.
years to come.
This will be the first year with paying players, isn't that right?
No, it's been a couple years.
It's been a
of
couple
NIL.
years. Is it
Sleeper pick, Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia sleeper pick.
Georgia.
What are you talking about? It's ASU or nothing, guy. Arizona State all
If
day.
you actually do want a sleeper pick in college football, my take right now is don't sleep on Iowa. Iowa last year, the only thing that could stop them is the fact that their offense probably averaged the negative amount of yards per game. They got Michigan's
they have more
backup
points.
quarterback on transfer, Cade McNamara, someone who did beat Ohio State, as a matter of fact, 2 years ago, then was replaced by Jay McCarthy just because of how great Jay McCarthy is. So Iowa might now have that one missing ingredient to really spice up the pot and have a chance in the Big Ten. I believe they're in the weaker side. I have to fact check that one. I can't remember.
Go Dogs. It's
But-
all about Georgia.
It's all about the two
We're not
conferences
talking
now.
about anyone else.
We talking SEC, Big Ten, and if you ain't in the SEC, you ain't in the Big Ten. If you in independent, if you in the whatever is left of the Pac-12
If you're Notre
schools,
Dame, you should forget about it and just play lacrosse.
I can agree with that. Notre Dame should just get rid of their
Just
football.
play lacrosse.
Disgrace. They got touchdown Jesus in the end zone. Jesus out there giving the touchdown. That's fucking sacrilegious.
Just play lacrosse.
Now, my dad's not going to like to hear this, but
Yeah, your
It
dad's
is-
probably gonna kill you.
that is some sacrilegious shit right there.
All right.
What's probably one of the hardest things to do as a teacher?
Get kids to learn that don't want to learn. That's the hardest thing to do. Is like engage kids and get them to maybe put down their phones or to buy into your lesson or what you're trying to get them to do for a little bit and see the importance and value of what you're doing. Not just present them like a lesson to give them a lesson. Actually try to teach them something related to the standards or something you think that's important. So
Where does your loyalty lie in lacrosse, though? I didn't want to drop that.
Oh my goodness.
Where's your college lacrosse loyalty? 'Cause
Stony Brook University,
they D1?
D1.
They are D1, yeah.
D1, yeah. They're CAA right now. So they got people like Hofstra, Delaware, Towson. I think some of those teams in there. When I played, we made it to the quarterfinals. We lost to Virginia by 1 goal, whatever, blah, blah, blah. 1 game away from the Final Four. But brothers won national championship. I don't know. Lacrosse, I root for. I usually root for Duke. I like Duke. I don't know why.
You don't know why, but you
Our
root
boy
for
from
him.
episode,
I like
big,
him,
big
yeah.
Duke fan.
It's
Big
hard
lacrosse
to root for Virginia because they knocked me off, but the coach that recruited me to play lacrosse for Stony Brook is their coach now. There's some ties to Lars Tiffany and wanting him to do well, but not
cool.
Navy. My friend coaches at Navy. He just won a gold medal for the United States as a cameraman. Shout out.
Hey, that's awesome.
How do you
Shout
do
out
that?
Spidey. I don't know. He's very good at technology. And
He's got like the best angles in the biz, or
he just knows how to break down film. Or
Money shots.
There's something to it because that's his job. He's on the sideline with an iPad, iPod, watching the game, like actively seeking out what the other team's doing or what's their angles and stuff. And
It's cool.
You know,
It's cool to
yeah.
see that evolution in lacrosse because, like, especially college lacrosse. When I was playing lacrosse in high school, like Michigan's my favorite football, hockey, every other sport college. But their lacrosse was always club, so it's cool to see they got. This was the first year they made it to the NCAA tournament, and maybe it's the second.
they
year.
did pretty well. Yeah.
But then they upset Cornell too, which was a huge win for them. But it's glad to see that Big Ten with Penn State, Ohio State, all kind of forming their own league.
I went over their schedule before, and I significantly underestimated Michigan's lacrosse team this year. So I will admit to that on this podcast. But at the same time, I was shocked to see Michigan do as well as they did because I had them losing a lot of games and not making the tournament, barely winning any games. I think they were going to win 2 or 3 games how I picked it, or no more than 5. And they did. Shout out Michigan lacrosse team.
Hey.
You could do well. I don't mind you guys doing well. Football, go Dogs.
I think they're only going to get better. Like I said, they came from literally a club program.
Yeah.
They've only been eligible to be in the tournament for 3 or 4 years. Because NCAA has a weird rule when you become a Division I school, you have to wait so many years before you're eligible for postseason activity, which I've never understood the reason why for that. Seems like a crutch for a smaller school.
To be an athlete now is wild because you can get paid and you can transfer. So it's
it's
pretty
ridiculous.
nuts, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it's ridiculous, to be honest. I think we are a little bit in the NIL Wild West, if you will, where I think it does need to get a little bit more refined, a little more systematic, a little bit more organized. However, this is what we've been striving for
Yeah.
years. Like, we're trying to get players paid for their name, image, and likeness. That's what they're doing. Why should you be stuck at one school while the school's profiting off of you? Why don't you have the choice to leave school like anyone else would?
It's just gonna get those egos of those young kids just skyrocketed through the roof, though. In my personal opinion, just these kids are getting paid millions of dollars as a fucking 18-year-old right off the bat out of high school. It's just.
If you're worth it, you should be paid it. You shouldn't be not.
But what
paid
makes
you're worth.
them worth that, though, is my question. The fact that they've seen them play a couple high school games, they should make $1 million before they take one fucking snap.
Some corporate marketing team somewhere has determining that putting this much money into certain things can provide them with so much result coming back to them. So it's all systematically calculated. Now, I do worry a little bit sometimes where the money's coming from. I don't want to watch some documentary 5 years from now being like, look at this NIL money coming from all these other countries, or I don't want that to happen. You know what I mean? That's where I get into, it's a little bit into the Wild West of the NIL right now. I wish they were a little bit more transparent. But this is good steps. This is steps in the right direction. We maybe went one step back, but I think we're 5 steps forward.
I don't know. I just also think they should get based on education, like knowledge too as well. No, it's not their ability to play sports, but to see actually how smart that athlete is, and not see if they're complete.
But the student athlete is a thing that the NCAA has been shoving down your throat for years, which is not a reality of life. These people are making millions and millions of dollars for these institutions. They are athletes first and students second. So the NCAA just likes to push that shit down your throat. But that's not the truth. These are independent athletes who do deserve the right to monetize themselves.
My thoughts is these are like what kids are looking up to. You know what I'm saying? I want someone that's gonna be actually smart, not a complete idiot, like going through the.
That's the decision of the people paying the money. If you want that person being associated with your brand, it's just like business. It's up to you to decide who you want to do business with.
Yeah, that's why I was gonna break down back into teaching, like with you, and like how different teaching was back when you were a kid to like now, like how like the
impossible. I mean, we're talking about like still using like pen and paper grade books and no technology at all, to now using ChatGPT to, like either grade kids' works or, create a lesson for you in 2 seconds. Like, I mean, it's pretty significant. Yeah. Kids today they can learn from technology. It's
pretty easy.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's like right there in front of them. They can just Google it, not like actually use their fucking brain to actually read it.
That's the problem now. It's like how much is required of them, and like how much can they just use with technology, and what's that boundary that you need to create as a teacher, because you could tell them to type the chat into the prompt into ChatGPT and create whatever, but ultimately they're going to be able to produce that by themselves or understand what it means. Probably not. So that's the problem with it. I don't know. There's applications for it as a teacher. I use it all the time, but.
Are you able to tell when somebody has written you a paper with ChatGPT?
If it's a kid and they've written some handwritten papers and you can see their like quality of work, then yeah. If the person's like really experienced and they know how to beat plagiarism machines and
hide it,
there's no way.
Yeah.
Maybe unless it's embedded in the software and can show you the digital code when it's copied and pasted. But there's probably not. I don't know. There's a lot to be wanted in the teaching world regarding.
That shit's not in cursive anymore. That's for sure.
I write cursive, so my kids can't read my handwriting. So people can't read my handwriting.
Oh, the old doctor trick.
Yeah. So a lot of people can't read my handwriting because I write in cursive, even though it's pretty neat. Yeah.
Remember back in the day, dude, in 3rd grade, they just drill that shit in your fucking brain, how to do an A, B, C, all in cursive.
Yeah, my mom used to beat the crap out of us when we didn't hold the pencil right. We were literally showed how to
I still hold it like an 8.
Exactly.
It's embarrassing.
As you say, discipline nowadays compared to that is terrible.
Oh yeah.
Like how hard it is to not plant your students or anything like that. I'm not saying they need it, but I'm just saying if you had to.
Yeah, there's no discipline. I mean, there is discipline. It's just set situations, and it's a lot of like restorative justice practice as opposed to like giving kids detention. Or I'm not really sure how the discipline works in our school because not that I tend not to get kids in trouble. I just put myself in situations that kids are not going to get in trouble. Mm-hmm. Although you can't really control chaos, which I've learned in teaching because there'll be crazy stuff that happens. But
yeah, I've never always been the kindest to all my teachers, and I apologize to anyone listening to this podcast.
Yeah, that's the thing. You think you can control what goes on in a lesson. Fire alarms go off, tornado drills go off. Wow. Fortunately, you have a bomb scare. I don't want to get too dark here.
Oh, yeah.
It's nonsense
type stuff.
Yeah, but you have a drill to go over that. When I have to tell my kids we're doing active shooter drill. It's pretty intense.
It's scary how much that's actually happening now, and like how much you got to kind of teach your students like what to do and how to do that.
Yeah, my old school has a metal detector in it now, so I look at my old school where I was. I'm not gonna say where it was, but yeah.
More inner city.
Yeah, inner city. Not too much though. It was outside of Atlanta, but
suburban.
Yeah, it was a very diverse school. It was positive, a lot of positives, and now it has a metal detector in it. Which is that a positive thing? Yes and no.
It's trusting for your students.
Yeah, like how would you feel if you walked into a school with that? Here I am. We don't have that. Does it make me feel safer? I don't know. But it's just a hard conversation to have with kids, and ultimately I don't want to think like that, but what could happen? There's just, like I said, there's a lot of distractions, chaos that you cannot prepare for as a teacher, and you just have to roll with the punches sometimes. And I think that's where a lot of teachers fall short, is they don't accept that fate. They're so rigid, and I didn't get this done, so this is not going to happen, and my kids are going to suffer from it, where it's just like
The domino effect. Like
Yeah,
one
you
thing
just-
happens and there's just like their whole world crumbles.
you just-
Like, God damn it, I can't catch up.
Yeah, my philosophy on teaching is I'm there for 45 minutes, an hour. Like, I'm just going to stay locked in, focused to what I have to do in that 45 minutes, an hour, because it's not that long of a time period, and do the best I can. And that's it. So it's hard as a special educator, because typically you're not in control of the class sometimes. You're more like assisting other people, but
It's a very
You got-
difficult job.
yeah, you got to find a way in. It is hard because, once again, the populations of students that you're working with either don't have the skills, or their skills are not as strong as other students. So, like, having to work with them, other people's perceptions of these students are not typically as high as the honor roll students. So it can be hard, and most of the times you find yourself as like their advocate, or almost, I don't want to say parent figure, because I'm not their parent, obviously, but
They
you're-
definitely look up to you.
like you're
Yeah.
talking to their teachers about what they're doing, or like how they're doing in class, and how you can help them, and just sometimes you feel like you can't, or you can, but you want them to do it on their own. There has to be a little bit of homework, I think, with the younger ages. When I taught economics as 12th grader, I taught for an hour and a half. So I always told my kids, if I can't get what I need to accomplish in an hour and a half, like, that's on me. So we're not doing homework in my senior economics 90-minute class, but my freshman math class, my math 1 class, which is remedial math for kids, they got a significant amount of homework. They got like almost like 30 to 45 minutes of
A
homework.
lot more of that is like having to press that into them a little bit more, where you're in a little bit more remedial of a class, trying to get the basics down before.
Practice, you have to practice. I mean, there is something practice, but also the life balance. They're kids. I don't want them doing homework for an hour. I always hated that teacher that gave me so much homework and I couldn't get anything done. I feel like it's my responsibility as a teacher to give these kids enough time to get it done, or set realistic expectations, as opposed to be like, here's your homework, it's due tomorrow, get it done. I'm pretty flexible within reason. There's teachers that try to teach you punctuality, discipline. They're ruthless, and there's that type of people in the world, so that you need to learn those lessons too. But I think a lot of teaching is compassion and understanding, where in the right circumstance, not
hard to
having
teach
such
that.
a hard line could benefit you, as opposed, but you do have to keep standards up and things like that. But for the most part, none of my kids really took advantage of that. I did have one kid fully plagiarize an essay that I wrote as an example, word for word. Took my essay, handed it in to the other co-teacher, and I was like, I gave it to the principal, blah blah blah. Long story short, the kid got 100 on it, obviously, because I wrote it. And the other
Nice
teacher,
work.
the other teacher graded it, and I went to the principal, told them what had happened, and the principal said I couldn't give him a 0 because there was already 100 in the grade book, and we couldn't explain to the parents how the 100 would have changed to anything lower. Without,
Interesting.
yeah, it was.
Wow, the one kid that got one over on you.
Yeah, the one kid. Let's talk about. There was another kid. This is probably the
Here's some
worst.
crazy stories
Worst
about
or
this.
best story? I'll give you maybe my top 2 or 3, depending on what you really want. Okay. This story was, so I'm an economics teacher. We do budget project at the end of the year. I have a co-teacher. He's got special ed kids in the class, but it's a budget project. So you find out how much a house costs. You find out electricity bill, your car insurance, your car, just whatever your budget is going to entail. But I had some categories on it, and it was very scaffolded, and anyone could to do it. So this guy would take these kids out of class for 5 days in a row, and I had a pretty small class, and I was making sure my kids were doing the work and getting it done, because ultimately this is their last assignment that they need to graduate high school, and whatever, that's it. So anyway, it's like day 5, the project's due, and I look in the grade book, and there's hundreds all in the grade book already. And I was looking at one kid, and he didn't do any work like all these times. They'd always leave, have nothing to come back with. And I'm like, dude, where's your project? I didn't do my effing project. I'm like, what do you mean you do your project? I didn't do it. I'm not doing it. I don't have to do it. And I'm, yeah, you kind of do have to do it. I'm going to give you a 0. And the teacher already gave me 100 on it, so tough luck. And I'm like, what do you mean? So I went to the teacher and like confronted him about it. And I got the same story from the principal. There's nothing we could do about it. He already put it in the grade book. He ended up talking with that person, but ultimately nothing happened, and all those kids got hundreds. And the kid told me to F you to my face, which was pretty sweet. That's one of 2 or 3 times that's happened.
Imagine that shit back in the day, like when we were growing up. You would have gotten bitch slapped or slapped in the wrist with a ruler.
I had nuns that used to hit you with rulers.
Dude, my dad told me stories where he would get caught from his teacher and they would go up behind him and grab him by the trap and squeeze and pick him up.
Yeah.
Like,
I will say
that shit hurts.
I'd punch you back.
We want another teacher story or?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, bring them on, dude. I love hearing teacher stories.
First year teacher, never forget, at the school.
This is your first year?
It was my first year of teaching.
Oh, here we
It
go.
was 2014. I was like 22 at the time, 23 at the time. Sitting down, calling every kid up and going over their grades. You have an A, you have a B. This is the work you can do. Blah blah blah.
You're staying another year.
Calling this one girl over and had a conversation, kind of sitting close because we need to look at the computer, blah blah blah. And the whole entire time she's like, I know that you want me. I know that you really like me. And I was like, what are you talking about? You have an A in this class. Just leave me alone. Get away from me. Yeah, it was ruthless, dude. For at least a minute, I was getting chirped hardcore by this girl. And I'm not that far in age from you. And I just was horrified at this time. And I was just like, you need to go back to your seat if you don't mind. Like,
Just wanted to bag a teacher and just get an A guy. That's all she wanted.
It was
Only
nuts.
class you got an A in too.
It was economics. Senior year. That's serious. You got to be careful as a teacher with where you're with or who you're with, or because
it's a trap.
They can spin that on you hardcore.
You got to be careful with the A kids and the F kids, because the A kids want you. That's why they're trying to impress you, and the F kids are trying to stay back.
And they're trying to beat you up. The F kids too.
Yeah, that's who we
The
got.
F kids are trying to F you up. Trying to F you up sometimes. Only one time that almost happened.
Do you wanna break that down on that?
Yeah, we had a kid not come to my class for almost 2 months. I gave him all remedial work and gave him a remediation plan, a bunch of bullshit like usual. He didn't come to my class for almost 2 months, and now here's all the work that you can do because someone feels bad for you. And he was supposed to get it done before his baseball game. Didn't get any of it done, so I was like, dude, I'm telling your baseball coach you can't play in the game today because you didn't get all your work done and now you're academically ineligible to play.
Shit.
So that turned into almost beating Coach Sopko's ass in the middle of the classroom, where, he stood up to me. I was sitting at the chair and I'm like, can I have the work? And he's like, I didn't do your work. Once again, I didn't do your work. I'm not going to effing do your work. And I'm like, okay, then you're not going to play baseball. And then he bucked up to me. And at that point, I started screaming. And the only thing I could think to do was go out to the hallway where the cameras are. So in case this guy actually beat the crap out of me, I'm going to be on camera as opposed to just lying there on the floor. So I screamed so loud. I was like, oh, what's going on? I'm running out of the classroom. I'm like, oh my God. And I made so much noise that people heard me. I'm going to get your coach. And next thing you know, janitors are out, principals were out, blah, blah, blah. I'm on camera making a scene, absolute chaos, almost getting fought by a kid.
At least you were able to evade that, yeah.
The kid said that one day I'll see him in the MLB.
Have you ever had breakup fights?
Yes, as a student teacher.
Especially male teachers tend to get that role more. I have seen female teachers do it, and shout out to any female teacher out there who's broken up a fight. I feel bad
more
sometimes.
lacrosse fights, not more just coaching, not really teaching. I did get pushed into a locker as a student teacher once. That was fun. Just random kid shoved me into a locker.
Just probably thought you
And
were
I,
a student or some shit.
I looked at him and I was like, and I just kept walking at that point because I was a student teacher and I didn't want to get in trouble.
Oh,
You should have looked at him. I'm like, I'm your principal, bitch.
Yeah,
Just
no,
see what he did.
Couldn't do that.
We used to rag on
Eastport
student
South
teachers.
Manor. I'll never
Yeah.
forget the hallway. Sometimes it could be real.
All the drama.
Yeah, teenagers are
High
crazy.
school drama.
Dude, yeah,
absolutely
you probably
nuts.
any drama or cat fights or just girl-boyfriend relationship problems in the middle of class.
I stay out of that stuff, but
You tell them to shut the fuck
you will
up.
see
and
it.
go
Oh
back to
yeah,
work.
I mean, I had in economics. It was a boyfriend girlfriend. They used to just kiss each other and kind of hold hands in my class. And I'm like, I'm gonna throw up if I have to watch that one more time. You're sitting over me. I actually tried to break them up a little bit because they were just so over each other, and I'm like, this is disgusting. I am teaching supply and demand here, and you guys are making out.
What about supply and demand
I am
turns you
done.
on?
I am done.
I'm
with this.
supplying knowledge and
Yeah.
I'm demanding
I'm like,
you get
sit
that
over
girl's
here,
tongue out of your
and
mouth.
You sit over here and don't touch each other ever again.
Economics. And
It was nuts.
Yeah.
It was nuts. Yeah. Any boyfriend, girlfriend in your class, try to break that up.
Oh,
100%.
sit your ass over there. You sit over there.
I do not encourage relationships in high school.
No?
Definitely not.
Anything else you encourage in high school for our students?
Yeah, get good grades, go to school, and then figure it out. Maybe be a plumber, electrician, and now everyone has to go to college, all right? Think about what you want to do, what you like to do,
Good advice.
and get it done, all right?
What do you think
You
about
heard
that?
it here from the teachers.
Yeah,
guy.
I mean,
all you
like-
kids out there watching the Cooked Lobsters, you heard it. Stay
For
in
sure.
school.
I don't have too much more knowledge
Stay
to
in
drop
school,
on
but
you.
college might not be
but
for you.
That's
Think
definitely
about
for
it
you.
before you just go to college.
Yeah.
So you suggest taking that leap year, like that off year almost, or
If
just
it's
trying
right
to
for
figure?
you.
I think it's more about searching out the skills that you're equipped with and making the most out of that, you know? So, like, for me, I never took a gap year. I coached lacrosse. I student taught. I was always, like, it wasn't a job. It wasn't a career. It just was something that I could do to just keep getting better. So I think a lot of kids, they're reluctant to either get a job or develop a skill that's going to make them better. They just want to figure it out after, let it happen for them. And I don't think that happens in life. Like, the go-getters are the ones that make the most of the opportunity they're presented with. You can make your own destiny and fate if you try hard enough. Yeah, the cards might be stacked against you and there's going to be obstacles and adversity, but that's what I'm hopefully learning and getting better with now. And the teacher, it's like practice what you preach. So half the stuff I tell the kids, I'm like, it's more like monkey see, monkey do, or do as I see, not as I do.
My
So-
last question
or
that
do as I
have
say, not
for
as I
you
do.
today.
Last question. This is it.
This is my last question
All
for
right.
you. I can't speak for Brandon here, but
I got like 5 more in me. Probably.
I know.
Perfect.
I know you said
I got
we're-
5 in me.
This is actually coming back all the way to the beginning of the
All right.
podcast, summing everything up. You said you had a lot of great coaches. You yourself are an you exemplify what a great coach is.
So
But you said with a lot of the great coaches you had, what's one piece of advice that maybe someone gave you, a coach or a mentor, that you still sticks with you to this day, that you follows you in your life?
Mr. Cook, son. Not gonna say his first name because we're on the Cooked Lobsters,
Hey.
and there's a lot of cooks out there in the kitchen, aka you guys. All right, but I inherited a team that was 0-16 my first year coaching JV. They didn't win a game the season before, and I went up to I'm like, I'm basically coaching the Bear News Bears. I got these kids. They want to play lacrosse. They're good, but they're not like, they didn't win a game last year. What the hell am I going to do with these kids? Like, how are we going to win? And he just said to me, believe in yourself, believe in your team. And I think that's the best piece of advice I've ever gotten. There's a lot of like little nuances or catchphrases or whatever, but I think that embodies them all. If you believe in yourself and you believe in your team, then anything is possible.
And that's when everyone starts buying along with the philosophy, and it's contagious.
So I thought that was just the best. And I tend to say it once a season with my kids, is believe in yourself, believe in your team. And typically it comes after a bad loss or something like that, because you're usually down on yourself. You know, you just lost by 20 goals. And
That's
To
when
a
you
bunch
really
of
learn
sick-
yourself. That's when
Yeah.
you learn a lot about yourself,
Yeah.
though. You learn way more about yourself in a loss than you ever do in a win, and that's something I actually always take.
sometimes you learn you can never win. And
Jeez.
that's it. You got to wait till next season. But hopefully not.
Hopefully soon.
No, I've been fortunate enough to coach a lot of good teams. The teams that I coach that are bad, the wins and losses aren't what makes the season. It's more of the relationships with the kids and like their personal growth, because they do get a lot better. It's significant to watch kids play on my team and then watch them after. So even if they are on a C team or whatnot, like they're going to be ballers, shot callers.
Something I'd probably have to ask is like, for all your years of teaching, what's something that you would pass on to some of the teachers on now? All like lessons that you do or something like.
I just think it's be yourself. I think a lot of teachers try to put on like an act or be serious. Or I think the best
Persona.
teachers are
Yeah.
more just natural. They can just speak to an audience. It's not premeditated. Like they can improvise on the spot. They can adapt. And they're not rigid. I think a lot of teachers, they go into it, and especially new, not having that so much experience. You make your lesson plans, you do your lessons, and no matter what, that's what you do. But as you get more experience, you understand what works, what doesn't work, and like how to change it up on the spot. And you believe in yourself. That's the thing. There's all these new innovations, and I think about lacrosse and all these different drills, and we're still working on this same skill. My drill does this. So I can look at your drill and learn from it, but we're still going to go with my stuff. Have confidence in what you have as well. Because I think just so many teachers out there come in so experienced and don't have the resources, and if they get them, then build off of them. as opposed to trying to do it all by yourself and working crazy hours. Part of a teacher is the lifestyle. I don't care what anyone says. Okay, I became a teacher because I wanted summers off. Like, I wanted my summers off.
Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. I wanted 2 months out of the year where I can absolutely do nothing and come up to Maine and travel the country, coach lacrosse, blah, blah, blah.
Paddleboard.
I also do not get paid for these 2 months, so shout out to Lexington or whatever public schools that, you know, are out there and their pay schedule. I think it's just a really rewarding job, so I don't know.
We'll have to get Paddle Buds up and running and like,
Paddle
get you a
Buds.
summer job and
Down.
get all these people to relax
That'd be so
before
sweet.
the actual season starts going
Saying,
on.
we just
Coming
take them
soon
out
to
on
a
the
lake near you.
Oh,
take
yeah.
them paddleboarding. The psychedelic experience, they can deal with that a little bit later after the paddleboarding session when I don't have to save their
That's that
lives.
next cast.
But
Yeah, how to deal with that? That was like my last question actually. Is like, how do you deal with the young students and cannabis? Like, do you have to deal with it like quite a bit?
oh, another great story. I forgot about this one. As a teacher, bathroom duty. I've had
Oh, yeah,
all
you
duty,
said
baby.
one word.
All duty, bathroom duty. Yep. I, believe it or not, had bathroom duty for the same spot at the same school for almost like 5 years. And it's because I showed up every day. So it's my fault that I had this position. It was actually horrible. I'll never forget it. Every kid was so pissed. I was like, if I didn't ask if they go to the bathroom, they would walk down the hallway that they couldn't walk down. So no matter what, you'd always have to ask the kid if they were going to the bathroom to confirm that they were going to the bathroom and not actually just walk down the hallway and totally ignore you. Yes, I had to ask every single guy and girl, are you going to the bathroom? Are you going to the bathroom? And it's the freaking worst question in education. You have your best lesson in the world. Next thing you know, you see a kid raise his hand, and you're like, yes, go for it, Johnny. He's like, can I go to the bathroom? And you're like, dude, shut the hell up. You just ruined my whole lesson. You ruined the fly. You ruined the flow. My kids have to go to the bathroom. This is the sign that they make to go to the bathroom.
Wave you down?
I might be making that
Which,
sign here in a second.
yeah, we're making that sign in a second. But getting back to my original point, if you see a bunch of girls going to the bathroom, it's okay. It's probably okay. A bunch of high school girls going to the bathroom, they're probably just going to the bathroom. Yeah, is it weird for 5 girls to walk into a woman's
what they do,
bath?
though.
But that's what happens.
That's what they
But
do.
the contrary here.
Now the contrary.
See this coming.
If you had, let's just say, 5 boys walk into the bathroom at one time,
One of two things.
what's happening in that bathroom?
It's one of two
Nothing
things.
good. Nothing good is happening in that bathroom, okay? 5 boys walk into the bathroom at the same time. There is something that's going down in that bathroom.
That
So
bathroom is getting A, smoked out, or B, Fight Club.
exactly. So
Didn't
yeah.
say Fight
So
Club.
there's
That's
either
rule one.
Yeah.
You don't talk about it.
In high school, they're either smoking vape pens or fighting each other, or
Selling drugs.
there might be something else. We're not gonna go there. We're gonna leave that for the viewers to desire.
Whoa, whoa,
okay,
whoa.
to desire, to think about. But anyway, so these kids, literally, I waited 10 seconds because you can't just bust in the door. You gotta wait. You gotta
Just swat that shit. Just
So I bust in, and there's clouds of smoke everywhere.
what grade is this?
They're in high school. They're probably like 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, depending on how. They're probably in like 10th grade at this point. So I dubbed them the chain smokers. I'm like, yo, chain smokers, let's go. And then we'll go to the principal's office and we'll go from there. So I did catch 5 kids smoking a vape pen while being the bathroom monitor. I am that bathroom monitor.
Jeez.
I gotta ask.
It's one of my best days on the job.
You're under oath. Did you take the contraband?
No.
You didn't?
If I did, I gave it to the principal.
What was in the vape pens?
I don't know. I didn't look.
Did you try it?
I just caught him. No. I just caught
Principal
him.
tried. Someone had
The principal might have tried it. I don't know.
Was it CBD or?
Couldn't tell you. All I know is that, once again, moral of the story, 5 kids walk into a bathroom and they're all boys. You better go check out what's going on. All right? Unless, there's really
really
no
no
one.
exception.
Yeah,
No.
maybe if you're at like a sleepaway camp and it's like a normal thing that kids need to go into the bathroom and there's more than 4 stalls or something like that. But no, high school bathroom, keep that on lock. All right?
You heard it here.
You heard
One
it.
boy
You heard
per
it.
bathroom.
Unless you're getting fired, you're gonna get fired from bathroom duty, which hopefully I do
Man,
something wrong
With
next
all
time.
5 of those kids, not one of them could play lookout for you, huh?
It was wild. I could not believe their strategy, but at the same time, I saw it coming.
Bro, you should just give him like a life plan. Hey, just to let you know, next time you do, this is how you gotta do
I
it.
did mention maybe staggering entries. Okay, maybe 2 guys at a time.
That's
Okay.
a great teacher.
I gave them a couple strategies to improve their performance, but they failed the assessment.
But
as it was.
they're learning in and out of the classroom.
was
That's
bad.
an excellent teacher right
I
there.
mean, you got to give the kids. Sometimes you chirp them, sometimes you don't. In that instance, you got to chirp them because you don't go in the bathroom with 5 guys in high school, right?
No.
When there's a bathroom monitor, all right? For all my adult podcast listeners out there, tell your kids not to do that, all right?
Unless you're getting burgers, 5 guys.
That's pretty much
That's
it.
the only time you have 5 guys.
Just don't type in 5 guys like when you're on Google. That might bring you
5 guys,
some
1
interesting
bathroom.
shit.
Safe search back on. Safe search back on.
All right.
But
Being
anyway,
I had a great podcast.
This was a great podcast.
I'm so
This
stoked
was
to
great.
be out here, dude.
Great
This
at
is
B8.
awesome.
Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, when am I coming on again? When are we doing this
That's
again?
what we wanna hear.
When are we
my
figuring
God.
this out? We getting more merch?
We got more. We got some merch coming. We got the cups. Will be an
I,
incredible.
mean, I need a Cooked Lobster shirt or maybe a
We'll make it
lobster
happen.
mitt
Master
or
Claw.
something.
We'll make it happen.
I mean,
Gift
a
bags.
lobster suit or something.
We got gift bags.
I
coming
just had
out.
a lobster roll from some.
Oh yeah, give him a shout out. For,
Shout out,
Rocket
Amanda.
Johnny Rock.
I don't know. We have to
Rocket
figure it
Ron.
out.
Rocket
Rocket
Ron's,
Ron's.
yeah, Rocket Ron's, right on 26, right across First Amendment.
We'll have to
Rocket
see. We'll
Ron.
have to see.
Add that to the
Rocket
calendar.
Ron,
All
yeah,
right.
Rocket Ron's is great. They have fantastic food and everything like that. But hey, thank you so much for coming.
You guys
on,
best.
We
This is
appreciate
the
it.
best podcast in Maine, probably the continental United States.
Michael.
Holla at your
Hey.
boy. Only getting more listeners and the more followers.
Yeah.
Episode 8, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Stay cracking, boys. Stay cracking. And girls.
What a hell of an episode we just had here with Michael Sopko. Wow, learned so much about the guy.
Quite the experience, and I'm very grateful to be a part of that.
Bro, his energy, I just feel like he's like a hype man for life. He just gets you excited to do anything and everything.
He's a man constantly evolving, and he evolves with the life around him.
Yeah, and dude, some of his experiences were absolutely hysterical. Like,
Absolutely crazy. Did not see a lot of that coming, but glad it did come.
if that was going to happen to anybody, it's going to happen to Michael. But he's such a great guy, and he knows how to get away with it and
Yeah.
do things. But
We got to talk a little bit about his Jets and his Georgia Bulldogs. Sorry about that, Michael. Now we know I was right with my Michigan prediction. Go blue, baby.
you got to think about it. He got you in the long run because he is the league champion in our fantasy football league.
Yes,
so.
he actually has won the championship.
And I'm pretty sure he beat you.
He did in the final, so he did get his one last hoorah against me. But I would trade it any day for the national championship.
You trade over $450 just for a year of bragging rights?
It's not a year of bragging rights. It's a legacy of bragging rights. It's cementing your name as the greatest in the year 2023-24.
So did they pay you to wear all that stuff?
Nobody's paying me. If they would like to, I will always represent the Maize and Blue. Always down for a sponsorship here on the Cooked Lobsters. We got to thank everybody for continuing to support us. Thank you for your love. We're going to be up there, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Of course, you need to listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music. Thank you guys for your continued support. The end of season 1 is very exciting. We got some really big things planned and some events going, so
Got out of hibernation a little bit. A lot of things happening, and then even greater things coming to our way.
really great things. We got another great episode. Like we mentioned earlier, this was part 1 of the Lost episode. So this was filmed just before football season had started. And ironically, is like right as college football season ended, we're putting this out. And pros are wrapping up, and sorry for the Dolphins. I really thought this was the year, but we've been here before, so
It's okay. They can't handle the cold, my guy.
you can't have it all in life. And a national championship is more than anybody can ever ask for. But we were mentioning that Lost episodes. We have one more Lost episode that's going to be releasing probably within a week. And very exciting stuff. We'll let that episode speak for itself, but one of the craziest episodes we've done. Right
Very
up there.
crazy. A little, but it's going to be definitely switching it up, and it's going to be, I'm excited.
Big switch up. Very entertaining. I'm very excited to listen
Don't
to
want to
this
give
one
away
myself.
too much, though. We always try not to give away too much.
That's,
But hey, unfortunately, it's that time of year. We got to go out and shovel some snow, get everything wrapped up. And hey, everyone's staying warm out there. And always thank you so much for listening to our podcast. And
got to
our
collect
episodes.
the yellow snow for his Uncle Gary. Not sure what he does with it, but
Yeah, he always comes home with a lot of money when he makes those snow cones.
he sure does. Thank you guys again for listening to us. Y'all stay cracking.
Y'all stay cracked. Wonder how much he makes at the end of the day.
I don't know. Do you take a little off the top for himself?
Honestly, like, I'd be really concerned if he gave me a red snow cone.
Yikes, I'd be concerned for everybody.
I would too. I'm like, huh.